This week was a big week for Destiny. Like me, many Destiny players have been grinding away at the new Edge of Fate expansion this week, playing the campaign, unlocking new exotics and armor, and trying out everything in the portal. As of right now, I have finished the legendary campaign, grinded up to about 200 light, and have completed the fabled versions of the campaign missions to further upgrade Matterspark. Since I've done most of the major content in the Kepler destination, I felt that it's a good time to get all my thoughts out about the new destination. This video isn't a review of the campaign or the expansion as a whole, but will focus on the gameplay side of the Kepler destination itself. I'll touch on the campaign a little bit, but it won't be the focus. We'll be discussing the level design, world tiers, and of course the dark matter abilities, among some other things too. Oh, and if you stick around to the end of the video, you could find out how you could enter my giveaway for a standard edition of Edge of Fate on Steam. And don't forget, we are partnered with Advanced GG. If you're looking for something to give you energy for your gaming sessions, or just want to stay hydrated a little bit easier, check out the link in the video description and use my code RIZEKI for a discount at checkout. And by the way, the Rizeki shakers are also still available, and they're super cool, so definitely check them out. No bias, of course. So, Kepler. Kepler is the brand new destination available with Edge of Fate, and that means you're going to be spending a lot of time there. Of course, the campaign is entirely contained within Kepler, and even outside the campaign, there's a lot to do here. Kepler itself is a pretty small destination. Even prior to the expansion launch, Bungie had advertised it as such. But the thing I noticed while playing through the campaign is it really didn't feel as small as it actually is. Kepler is designed to have many of its areas interconnected, whether that is through normal pathways or otherwise. Many locations are connected through the dark matter abilities and Rosetta, which you will unlock as you progress through the story missions. The abilities allow you to take new routes through Kepler. The most impactful way this is used is to make missions in certain branches of the map feel different, even if you are playing inside rooms you've already been to before. You'll be playing through the rooms in one direction, then next time you'll be going through them backwards and then sideways. Bungie really did make the most out of a small destination by designing Kepler in this way. I never felt once that Kepler was small while playing the campaign, and that's a really good thing. I would venture to say that it felt larger than something like Neomuna even, just due to the smart way in which the world was put together. Like I mentioned before, one of the ways that Kepler is made to be so interconnected is in no small part due to the dark matter abilities. Matterspark, Relocator, and Mattermorph are their names, and you'll unlock them as you progress. Each one allows for new ways to traverse the environment. Matterspark essentially turns you into a morph ball for Metroid, giving you access to small tubes that are used to travel between areas, and to find pathways into secret rooms. Relocator is kinda like a one-way portal gun, and Mattermorph creates new temporary pathways or changes the terrain in some way. Matterspark is the first dark matter ability you gain access to, and definitely the most used. To say Matterspark has been a hot topic would be an understatement. When Bungie said you would be using Matterspark in Edge of Fate, they really meant it. Pretty much every mission, level, or even boss fight has you turning into the Matterspark ball for some task. If it was only used for traveling between rooms or solving the occasional puzzle, that would be fine. But it is definitely overused. I think the biggest problem with the design of Matterspark, besides the kinda janky implementation of it, is the sheer number of mechanics that are tied to it. What should have just been a traversal mechanic became a damage ability, a shield remover, a key to a door, a charger, and probably a bunch of other things that I'm forgetting too. In short, there is a lot that the ball does, and that means that it becomes a catch-all for pretty much any puzzle or fight, or anything the level designers come up with. As we'll discuss in a minute, the other two dark matter abilities are far more constrained in their use cases. By tying so many mechanics to a single thing, it means that the one thing will have to be used for everything. And as a result, Kepler is overloaded with places to use the ball, and it definitely feels this way, whether you're playing the campaign or just exploring. Personally, I am not a fan of Matterspark in its current state. The movement is janky, your camera is jerked around when you first transform, and of course, it's everywhere, like I already said. Unfortunately, due to a single bad design choice of putting every mechanic under the sun on Matterspark, it really turned it from a cool movement option to something that became really old, really fast. Relocator, on the other hand, is different. This was the second ability that I unlocked, and its use case is much more limited. It simply allows you to pick up a cannon, shoot at certain targets to create a portal, and then teleport to them by stepping on an activated pad. There are also a set of relay cannons of sorts, which can redirect your Relocator to a new direction. Some relays can be shot to change their orientation as well. Since Relocator only has a single defined purpose, it is only used in a couple select locations, typically to travel between areas or to solve puzzles. The implementation is fine, but I can't help but feel a little underwhelmed by it. Relocator might have the opposite problem to Matterspark, where its purpose is too confined, making it difficult to implement into more interesting places. Puzzles with Relocator tend to have obvious solutions, except for maybe a single puzzle near the end of the campaign. I think if Relocator worked more similarly to the portal gun from Portal, or could be used or summoned at any time like Matterspark, it would make it far more useful and accessible for other areas on Kepler. Finally, we have Mattermorph. Similar to Relocator, Mattermorph is pretty restricted in its use cases. Unlike Relocator though, it has the advantage of not being linked to a cannon that needs to be picked up. Instead, activating Mattermorph replaces your melee ability, so you could freely roam around while using it. And you still have access to your weapons, abilities, and you could pick up objects at the same time. This allows for Mattermorph to have more use cases, and as such, sees way more use in various locations. It's used for shortcuts between rooms, traversal, boss fights, and puzzles. But because all Mattermorph does is move objects and terrain around, it does not feel overused like Matterspark. If I could offer a single criticism, I think that replacing your melee, even like Mattermorph does for about 30 seconds, can actively hurt certain builds that rely on melee abilities. Maybe putting it on a different or new binding could solve this, although that is easier said than done due to controllers. Otherwise, I think Mattermorph is fine the way it is, and it fits nicely into the overall Kepler destination. The final major component of Kepler is world tiers. This is a brand new system in Destiny, allowing players to tune the difficulty of the destination they are playing in. For Kepler, there are 4 world tier options: Brave, Legendary, Fabled, and Mythic. Brave is by far the easiest, or I guess the normal difficulty, and Legendary is of course one step up, while Fabled and Mythic are the most challenging and are pinnacle content at their core. As you ascend world tiers, you gain access to more powerful loot drops, as well as new sets of missions to complete. While playing the campaign, I played on the Legendary world tier, and the challenge felt just about right for what I have come to expect from Legend campaigns and Legendary difficulty in general. It was a solid mix of challenge and accessibility. I think that any player will be able to complete content in this world tier if they strive to. Things change, however, when we go to Fabled and Mythic. Certain abilities, quests, or unlocks are gated behind these higher world tiers, so eventually you will have to play on them if you want to complete everything. Of course, I wanted access to Matterspark 4, so I needed to complete a series of campaign missions on Fabled. I was expecting a challenge, but what I got kinda ruined a lot of what I was liking about Kepler prior. I will start off by saying I did everything solo on Fabled, so maybe things would have been different if I was in a fire team. Anyway, I initially attempted Fabled while between 5 and 10 light below the recommended. So I knew that I was going to have a tough time, but previously in Destiny, being within 10 light of the recommended was usually doable in most cases. It is definitely not doable this time around though. Enemies were total bullet sponges, while simultaneously hitting like a truck. So, of course, I figured they just changed the scaling, and so I grinded a little bit to get the recommended 170 light. This didn't change anything. Everything I just said pretty much still applied. It was just maybe a little bit easier, not by much though. I basically had to bite the bullet and use the currently bugged 3rd iteration to feel like the damage that I was doing had any impact at all, which kinda sucked because I really wanted to use a solar weapon to synergize with my build. Oh well, regardless, this is a major design flaw. While I understand that Fabled and Mythic should be very challenging, they should also be approachable once you hit the recommended power level. Difficulty should not be defined by the total health of an enemy, but rather the actual encounter design and mechanics. Increased health and resistance to player damage is just really a cheap way to artificially inflate difficulty, and is definitely not fun or approachable for the average player, especially a mostly solo player like myself. And from what I've seen, Mythic has become GM-like, where players sit at a distance and plink at enemies. A long, drawn-out tactic, which works fine in a slow, more tactical setting like a Nightfall, but definitely less so in a fast-paced, confined arena setting like rooms on Kepler. With all that in mind, what do I think of Kepler overall? I think Kepler as a destination is a pretty solid one at that. The interconnected design of rooms with shortcuts and secrets being revealed and discovered as you progress is really cool. It's a fantastic way to make the most out of a small destination. It never felt small to me while playing, and that's a really good thing. The dark matter abilities are a cool concept, and I think could have been more well received if designed a little bit differently. I think Relocator and Mattermorph have a lot of promise, but are hindered by the heavily restricted nature of how they were implemented. On the other hand, Matterspark was way overused and has the major flaw of being designed with everything tied to it. Too much ball, not enough anything else. World tiers are an excellent addition to the game, and I like how certain quests and unlockables are tied to higher world tiers. That being said, the way difficulty was increased on higher world tiers was a total mistake and makes playing on them pretty unfun and at a lot of points extremely frustrating and or boring. This should be an easy fix, and I imagine Bungie will at some point tune these tiers based around player feedback, but of course we're gonna have to wait and see. All in all, I really honestly enjoyed playing on Kepler. A lot of things were done right, and some things not so right. There's also a ton of things that I haven't talked about, and I'd love to discuss those in future videos, so stay tuned for those. And also, don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts on Kepler as a destination. Do you like it? What are your thoughts on dark matter abilities and world tiers? Let me know. If you liked what I had to say, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. We are rapidly closing in on 5,000 subscribers, and hitting that would be amazing. Oh, and don't think I forgot about that giveaway for the Edge of Fate Standard Edition. I was sent a key for the expansion directly from Bungie, but since I already bought the expansion myself, I didn't want to let the key go to waste, so I'm going to give it to one of you guys. There is a link to a Gleam giveaway I set up in the video description. Entry is completely free, and the only information I will collect from you is your name and email so I can send you your key. I'm going to pick a winner at Weekly Reset on Tuesday, July 22nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are chosen as the winner, I will not ask for any information or anything that you haven't already provided. I will just send you your key. So watch out for anyone claiming to be me, saying that you won and trying to get something from you. It's probably not me. So with all that said, go on ahead, check the link in the video description and see if you win. But with all that said, I think that's all I've got for now. As always, I've been Rozeki, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.